Chief Lena Home, followed by the national anthem played by past President Doug Riley, President and CEO Warren Douglas Advertising. The danger of putting your prayer on your phone so you can't find it. Okay, please.
I didn't know it worked that far.
Please bow with me. Heavenly Father, we come to you asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us encourage meaningful ways and allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of community. As we gather today, we are reminded that you have gifted each of us with a strong desire to do good, to be honest and fair, and to serve others. I pray that we are ever mindful of these gifts and that we seek opportunities to serve fellow club members and our community. Accept our thanks for this day and for all its blessings. Guide and direct our club, its leaders, and our actions. Grant that each of us may feel our responsibility to our community and to our country. Bless our fellowship today and bless the food and those who prepared it. Amen. Amen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed, at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets reclaimed our thirsty air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled
Managing Director, Lark Addison LLC, to visit our guests.
Thank you, President Courtney. Good afternoon and welcome fellow Rotarians and guests here in person and on Zoom. It is an honor and a great pleasure to welcome the following guests to our second meeting of the new year. As I read your name, please stand so everyone can recognize you. First, we have Councilman Chris Nettles, who's a guest of Jim Austin. We have Orine Akujo, Renee Gilmore, who's here as a guest of Jason Ray. Chris Cobbler, who's a guest of Carlo Capitan. DeAngelis Griffith, who's here as a guest of Jason Ellis. Landon Dickerson, who's here as a guest of Ryan Hill. Debbie Adame, who's here as a guest of Jason Ellis.
Thank you, Ed. And now for our test. Here at Rotary, we have a test that guides us in our daily actions. And so if you will repeat it with me. Number 1, is it the truth? Number 2, is it fair concern? 3, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And now for the moment that we suspend this test for a little bit, and maybe waiting for, maybe not, we will welcome Kirk Driver, Captain of the Fort Worth Police Department, to give his first ever news test.
What's up there?
Why are you gonna do it?
Well, I feel about as welcome as
Dr. Fauci at the Rand Paul party. In our news tonight, today, Lake Superior State University has compiled their annual tongue-in-cheek list of banished words and phrases for 2022. The top 10 are as follows. Wait, what? Wait, what?
Operator error.
No worries. No worries. At the end of the day, that being said, asking for a friend. Circle back. Deep dive. New normal. You're on mute. And supply chain.
Try it. There you go.
As reported by the UPI on January 1st, the ice rink will be heated this year for the outdoor NHL Winter Classic. True story. And in related news, Hell is installing air conditioning. In Argentina this week, 3 teens were searched by the police for an allegedly stolen mobile phone. It appears these allegations were proven false as the police only found them to be in possession of gold. Scientists in America are beginning to become more vocal in their call to action on our obesity crisis. They're now calling it addiction. In response, IHOP has rolled out the IHOPPy hour starting at 3 p.m. daily. And in response to this response, Canada is tapping into their strategic reserves of maple syrup to cover the resulting syrup shortage. In California this week, a father and son alpaca duo escaped their zoo enclosure and went on an adventure to a nearby neighborhood. Police response was said to have been delayed due to higher priority services. Ouch. In Key West, Florida last week, 2 suspects vandalized and burned a famous landmark building. The police, however, were able to identify and bring one of the suspects to justice when a bartender identified him as the same person who had stiffed that bartender from his tips on New Year's Eve. Let this be a lesson to all. Tip your bartenders well and tip them off. In more on news this week, a 225.13 pound ball of human hair broke the Guinness World Record. Now, I used to be married. Gentlemen, where's my home handy? I'm sure that if we pulled our resources, i.e. hair balls, from the shower drains we've collected, we could easily reach this record and record the win for our club. Turning back to national news, the federal case against the jail guards who were on duty the night Jeffrey Epstein died has been dropped. In related news, Elaine Maxwell's Black Book will not be released to the public. In unrelated news, more business. An undersea cable connecting Norway with the Arctic satellite station has been mysteriously severed. And Sarah Palin wants the jury to be barred from seeing her mass singer footage in the New York Times article. Meanwhile, the media is reporting that trusting societies have fared better during the pandemic. But of course they would say that. Last but not least, the past several years, having a line of spirits was the pinnacle for the celebrity world, with folks like Ryan Reynolds, George Clooney, and even George Strait attaching their names to various liquors and cashing in on them. Now the new celebrity trend is in nail polish lines. I'm not a marketing expert, but Jim, I think this is this weekend, we turned noticeably colder this evening with highs struggling to reach the 40s. Standard weather for the stock show parade. Buckle up and have a great weekend.
Thank you, Captain Kirk. That was a wonderful first newscast. Congratulations. And if you brought a guest today, you may mention them with the newscaster is. And for a couple of announcements, I welcome, first announcement will be Elliot Goldman with a few two grant presentations. We'll have the come on up.
Thank you, President Court. I'm always excited to see a robust crowd here for my presentation of the grants. That's a good look. I'm at least 24 in this shot. I don't see any difference. That's the scary part. All right, anyway, for our grants, we have, this is an exciting grant group. They're doing. So the first group that we're going to present to is the Friends of I Am Terrell, and we have Principal Baldwin Brown. The grant is to fund master classes for choir, orchestra, and dance student apprentices. Master classes invite expert artists to the academy to teach intensive workshops and provide opportunities for intensive interaction with professional artists. Working closely with these experts and through exposure to their opinions, motivations, and work methods, students gain insight into how artists approach and make art and respond to their work. So I'm super excited to be able to present a check to Principal Brown for this program. I just wanted to thank the Rotary for this great gift, and on behalf of I Am Terrell Academy for STEM and Visual Arts, truly appreciate this. It will be well served to continue to educate our apprentices. So thank you all. The next grant comes through a committee request, and it's for Refugee Services. Refugee Services of Texas. This is a really interesting thing. Refugee Services of Texas welcomes refugees, immigrants, and other displaced peoples and supports them in integration and helping them thrive in their new communities. This grant is to help with resettlement of Afghanistan Special Immigrant Visas, or SIVs, recipients settling in Fort Worth. Special Immigrant Visas, or SIVs, recipients are Iraqi and Afghanistan translators and interpreters who work directly with U.S. Armed Forces and are eligible for limited resettlement assistance. So this is great. These are for people that have served and helped our troops during times of war. So, and we've got Zoe Wilkerson here to accept the check.
First of all, thank you so much for having us here. It's such a pleasure. And on behalf of our C and APA team, your generosity is highly appreciated, and thank you so much for that.
I do also want to say that the family that really sponsored is doing really well. The kids are in school, the father is working, and they're just settling in really nicely. Thank you. And now our Ambassador of Fun and Fellowship, Shannon Saldana, Business Development, the Linvet Group, has a couple of announcements for our next fellowship.
Hi there, I'm Shannon, and I'll be your cruise director for January. We have a couple of really great events coming up, and hopefully get excited. Our first up is Thursday the 20th. Everybody get your hats and boots dusted off. It's time for Rotary night at the rodeo. So if you haven't seen the social media posts, you still have time to get with Aurora. It's a really great VIP event. We have dinner and entertainment and tours before the rodeo, so you'll definitely want to get your tickets for that. Next up, the crew of the USS Fort Worth is sailing into Fort Worth on Friday the 28th, and we are going to have a happy hour thanks to our friends at Del Frisco Friday afternoon from 4 to 6. So we hope to get the link set up today to register. There's only about 25 spots, so be sure to get that set up. If you aren't able to attend, but would like to sponsor around for the cruise, we'll definitely take you into that too. Thank you.
All right, and now our secretary, Rebecca Montgomery, Principal Montgomery BR, has first readings and second readings.
Thank you, Madam President. We have a lot of good news today. First, we have two first readings. Our proposed members are Chauncey Bogan, Classification, Transportation. Chauncey's title is retired, as we all want to be. Her proposer is President Courtney Lewis. Our next first reading is Esdras Tucker, Classification, Business Service, Human Relations. Esdras is the President, CEO, and co-founder of DEI Consultants. His proposer is Carla Tapia. If no written objections are received in the Rotary office by January 21st, these proposals will be given second readings and voted on by the club. The exciting news continues. Today we have 5 second readings. Exactly. The following proposals were submitted during the January 7th program. If no objections are received through the voting process, then the proposed members will be accepted into our club. Our first second reading, Oninia Akusha, Classification, Finance, Public Hospital Foundation. Oninia is Director of the JPS Foundation. Her proposer is President Lewis. I move for election subject to attending a new member Rotary information session.
All right, motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Our second reading is Chris Cobbler, Classification, Publishing, News Media. Chris is the CEO and publisher of the Fort Worth Report. His proposer is Fernando Costa. I move his election subject to attending a new member Rotary information session.
All right, I have a motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. All right, the ayes have it. Good, I like it.
Our third second reading is Benjamin Deering, Classification, Business Service, Technology Consultant. Benjamin is a director with the PricewaterhouseCoopers. His proposer is Joe Michaels. I move his election subject to attending a new member Rotary information session.
All right, have a motion, have a second, all in favor? Aye. All right, the ayes have it.
All right, everybody, we're getting first. Our fourth second reading is Marianne Kenyon Godshun, Classification, Business Service, Executive Recruitment. Marianne is the owner of Career Management Partners. Her proposer is Rosa Navajo. I move her election subject to attending a new member Rotary information session.
Second.
All right, I heard a first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, ayes have it.
All right, folks, here we go. Ready? Our fifth second reading is Rachel Jensen, Classification, Construction Service, General Contracting. Rachel is the Director of Business Development with Print Construction. Her proposer is David Campbell. I move her election.
All right, the ayes have it. Welcome to all that have been. Okay, and now we have some blue badges to award. When you join Rotary, you get the red badge, and you do 6 hours of service and you earn your blue badge in service of your club. And I have 3 members. If you will come on up, Matt Jacobs, Julie Butner, and Ryan Hill. Come on up and I will trade you this blue badge for a red badge. Congratulations. And now, this month happens to be the Rotary Vocational Services Month, and our chairman of the day is Chris Jordan. He is also the chair of our vocational committee. Chris is the president and chief steward of Electroacoustics. And will you come on up, introduce our program for the day?
Howdy. So we've got a really special treat today that just happened within the last 2 days. So I wanted to tell you about this, and I want to introduce Marquita Greer to you. So I'm going to tell you a bit about her first, and then I'm going to tell you how we got connected. So Marquita is the Community Outreach and Awareness Specialist for Texas Workforce Solutions, Vocational Rehabilitation Services for Region 2. She worked with students and adults with disabilities for the past 18 years in various settings. Prior to starting her new position in May of 2020, she worked as a vocational rehabilitation or VR counselor for 8 years. She developed a model for maximizing the power of VR workforce-center relationship, resulting in benefits for job seekers with disabilities and referrals to the VR program. She holds a bachelor's degree in public administration with a minor in political science from Stephen F. Austin and a master's degree in rehabilitation and counseling from UNP. She is also a licensed professional counselor. So how did we get connected? A couple of months ago, we had a young man literally wander into our church that lived in the apartment complex next door to our church. Mentor him, I realized that there were some mental disabilities going on that just took a while to figure out. So he came into church one day and said, "How are you?" He says, "Not well." I said, "What's up?" He said, "Yesterday I lost my job and I found out that my girlfriend was pregnant." Okay. So first thing we wanted to do was to get him a job. But again, that proved harder than I thought it was. And I realized that he did have some disabilities, and he began to tell me about those. And I was unbelievably overwhelmed. How do I even begin to help someone like this? Certainly our church wasn't equipped. I'm certainly not equipped. So we had the speaker of Goodwill, CEO of Goodwill speaker months ago, and so I contacted him, and he directed me to Texas Workforce Solutions. And so I called their office, and they said, "We have a department that specializes in assisting with adults with that need vocational rehabilitation." As I described the situation, they said, "This is exactly what we do, and this is what we're here for." And this group got started over 100 years ago when the veterans exiting World War I had severe trauma and disabilities, and were trying to integrate back into society. And so they've been helping people for over 100 years. So I got my friend on the phone, and we got hooked up to a counselor, and we exchanged all the information, had a great talk. There's wonderful people. At the end, the gal that I was talking to said, "The biggest problem we have is getting the word out about what we do, because we're only able to help about 25% of the people that need our services. So we need to find a way to get the word out." I said, "I can help with that." So I gave her name to Sean, and today's speaker got canceled yesterday because of COVID. And Mark,
Rehabilitation counselors and staff in the midst of the pandemic. As you all know, the pandemic changed a lot of things for us drastically. We had to close up offices, move home, do everything virtually and learn how to work virtually. When we're used to serving individuals and individuals walking in our office just to meet if they need services. We don't schedule appointments, we have walk-ins. If someone comes in and they say they need our services, then we get them scheduled with a counselor. So it was quite a transition for us. But I also did it to remind myself, as well as my coworkers, that we do make a difference in the people's lives that we serve. We all make a difference, whether it's through your work on a daily basis, whether it's through your church, whether it's through your volunteer experiences. We make a difference, and we are all called to help one another. So I want to go over our agenda. Today, I will give you a brief overview of vocational rehabilitation services. I'll talk about services for adults, our youth. We do have a business service and eligibility requirements and how to get started. Just a little bit about Region 2. We cover 19 different counties. So we have offices all over. We cover the Dallas-Fort Worth area, all the way up to the Oklahoma border. And so I'll give you all a little overview of that and let you all see our map in a little bit. So I have here some statistics in regards to people with disabilities. Did you know that 19.6 million working age people in the United States have a disability? 1.6 million of those individuals in working age Texas have one or more disabilities. The state of Texas has 6 different regions for vocational rehabilitation services. There are, well, as you can see, we have our Region 1, which is up towards North Texas. We have Region 2. We have Region 3, which is the Austin area. Region 4, which is East Texas. Region 5, which is our largest region, covers the Houston, the Gulf Coast area. And then we have Region 6. We work in close partnership with our 28 local workforce development board areas. Vocational rehabilitation services, we are a partner within the Texas workforce system. We support those eligible individuals who may have a disability. So whether that is visual, cognitive, physical, medical, or mental, we support them so that they may be able to achieve their employment goals. We help them to prepare for work, we help them to obtain work, we help them to maintain work, and we help them to advance in employment. Our counselors work closely with those individuals to help identify an employment goal and support services so that they may be able to achieve their employment goal. Vocational rehabilitation services are located all across the state of Texas, and eligible individuals can seek out services in local workforce centers, and we do still have some of our standalone offices. Eventually, vocational rehabilitation services will be available in all workforce centers across the state of Texas. So I want to talk a little bit about who it is that we serve. We serve people who may have blindness or significant visual impairments, hearing impairments, which may be they need hearing aids, cochlear implants, mental health and behavioral health conditions, anyone that may be suffering from depression, anxiety, anyone who may have ADHD, learning disabilities, we can assist them. Any physical disabilities, we work in partnership with workers' comp. A lot of times they will refer individuals to our agency so that we can assist them with going back to work. Sometimes they're not able to go back to work in what they once did, so we may provide services to help them with retraining or any type of job placement or job searches. to their ability to go to work. We have any recipient of SSI or SSDI. They are automatically presumed eligible for our services. The great thing about that is a lot of people who receive SSI or SSDI, they may not understand their benefits and think that they can't work. VR provides benefits counseling to them. We explain their benefits. We have subject matter experts, which are trained counselors, who will explain those benefits. They have been trained to understand Social Security benefits. We call them Smurfs. I'm a Smurf, but it's nothing to do with my height, but I'm a Smurf. We will explain those benefits. We will let them know the benefits of returning to work and how their benefits will be impacted. With our adult services, we have counselors who have general caseloads to where they work with adults. They help them to prepare for work, to obtain work, to maintain work, and to advance in employment. They look at different services that they may be eligible for. So those services are provided, arranged, or purchased. And we'll talk about some of those services later. We also have an older individuals who are blind, OID, which is for our older population, 55 and up, who may have significant visual impairment or blindness. And with our OID case managers, the focus is helping them live independently within the home. So they may assist with assistive technology and anything that they need to help them to where they can live at home versus maybe living in a facility, or even if they live in a facility. So our OID case managers are trained to assist them with that. So with our youth services, we have counselors who work in the high schools and work with youth and students ages 14 to 22 to assist them with any services needed to help them get a job after high school or any post-secondary opportunities. So with our youth and student services, we take a look at what it looks like after high school. We help them to transition after high school. We have pre-ETS services here, and there we have all 5 services of those 5 categories. Counseling, work-based training. A lot of our counselors provide what we call paid work experience. We work with them to identify different employers where we will pay their wages for up to 12 weeks.
Sorry, little problem here.
Let's talk about our business services. We have 2 business relations coordinators. They look to see any issues that may come up on the job, but they assist them with obtaining qualified candidates for their positions. We just met with PGA on Tuesday, in which we were able to talk to them about VR services. Now, the great thing about VR services is that not only will we assist with helping businesses find qualified candidates, but with our services, we will be able to assist that may impact their ability to stay at work. With our Rehabilitation program, this is basically geared towards disability inclusion.
You got a problem.
So we work with employers
I can't, I've got a
employers
problem.
that have
It's not her. I keep having to go back and
of
forth.
individuals with
The program
disabilities,
working
and
Zoom, so
there's
that's the
special
problem.
decal that
We've got a
they
problem.
get. And they are, you can nominate them there at that particular website. Here is our eligibility requirements for VR services. Now, in order to be eligible for our services, you have to be present here in Texas. We do have a vocational rehabilitation service program in all 50 states, including Puerto Rico. It is federally funded and state funded. So you have to be eligible here in the state of Texas. You have to have a disability that impacts your ability to go to work. As a result of receiving our services, then you are able to achieve employment. I've listed here some of our services. We provide medical and psychological assessments. We provide vocational evaluation and planning. If we have someone that comes in and they're not too sure as to what it is that they want to do, then we work with contracted vendors and we can do the vocational evaluation. Let's say, for instance, they're not able to go back to what they were doing and they want a new career, but they're not sure. We can do that vocational evaluation. All of our counselors provide counseling and guidance. That is a substantial service that our agency provides. So that counselor will work with them to identify an employment goal that's obtainable and realistic, and they will provide that counseling and guidance to ensure that they are able to achieve their employment goal. We provide time-limited medical and psychological treatment. We pay for up to 15 sessions of counseling. We pay for supported employment. With supported employment, that's a little bit more hands-on, so we have people that will work with them to identify the job, to go on the job interview, for job coaching. If anything comes up on the job, then we work to try to help keep them on that job. We pay for physical therapy and OT, work-based readiness training, assistive technology and devices in wheelchairs, prosthetics, hearing aids. So this here is just a fraction of the services that we provide. I think if I went into detail about these services as well as the other ones that we provide, we'd probably be here for a few hours. So just to save time, I've just listed some of our services here that eligible individuals for the Vocational Rehabilitation Service Program may be eligible for. Again, they will work with their counselor to identify what services are needed. I want to talk a little bit about the purchase services, the provided services, and the arranged services. So with the provided services, that's probably going to look like the counseling and guidance that our counselors provide. With the purchase service, these are just some of the services here, but with our arranged services, we work in partnership with our community partners, nonprofit organizations, workforce centers, medical, hospital, because we know a lot of times with a person with a disability, it has a lot more to do with just employment. So it may have to do with housing, transportation, but we work with our community partners to help arrange those services so that when they do go back to work, they are successful. So how do we get started? You contact your local VR office. We have offices all across the Metroplex. We do have a rapid engagement team. And just a little background about the rapid engagement team. That is the number that you call, Chris. But we started the rapid engagement team in the midst of the pandemic because we wanted to make sure that we were still able to reach people. With everything going on and we're used to people walking in our offices, we wanted to meet people where they were. So we started the rapid engagement team, and that is located there in Austin, where if an individual needs our services, they can call the rapid engagement team, and they will route them to an office nearest them where someone will call them and get some additional information and go ahead and get the case started. We also have Start My VR. Start My VR is something that is located on the TWC's website. It's an online self-referral form. So if you have someone, or if you know someone that may need our services, then they can go online and fill out the referral form. And again, it's just their basic information. Someone will call them and get additional information and get them routed to a counselor. We also have our VR office located, and we have an email address there. So we really wanted to step up in the midst of the pandemic and meet people where they are, and just, make sure people have the services needed. As you all know, the pandemic has affected a lot of people, and it's also affected people's ability to work. And so I just feel like that this was just a great time for VR to shine and meet people where they are and provide the services that are needed. One of the things that Chris mentioned was that he's right, a lot of people don't know about our services. For so long, we've been known as the best kept secret. Well, if I have anything to do with that, I plan on changing that, because I will talk to anyone and everyone about VR services. I have our contact information here. I usually have, I don't like to say partner in crime, I say my partner in presentations. Deborah Jones, she is our business relations coordinator who works with employers to identify those qualified candidates in the disability awareness training. We usually do presentations. We are located in the Arlington area. Deborah, she is a member of the Texas Workforce, Tarrant County Workforce Board, but we do informational sessions for employers and different organizations so that others can learn about VR services. There's so much to VR where, again, if I went on talking about everything, we would be here probably till 5 o'clock. But here's our contact information. I've been in the field for so long, and I'm very passionate about what I do. So I will answer my phone. I've been known to answer my phone and send an email at 8 o'clock at night. So if we have you, or you know someone that may be interested in our services, they can always reach me. They can reach me by email or by cell phone. Our counselors are providing services virtually or in person or by phone. Here is our contact information there in Austin. Here's our Stevens Amendment, which just talks about how our funds are allocated. This is updated on a yearly basis. And I usually like to leave more than about 5 minutes for questions, because again, we normally have a lot of questions in regards to how people can get started, or if they want any more information in regards to VR. Do I have any questions? Yes.
So we found, of course, during COVID and the pandemic, are you getting more requests for services or less? Were people able to get a hold of you for a reason, or you find an increase in people asking your services during 2021 and now 2022?
I think at the beginning of the pandemic, people could not reach us, but now we're starting to see an increase in people wanting our services. Again, a lot of people don't know about our services. Prior to working with Texas Workforce, we were known as DARS, Department of Assistance and Rehabilitation Services. And what we found is that a lot of the public did not know that our program went under Texas Workforce Commission. So the VR program, there's a community outreach and awareness specialist in all 6 regions, but that's what we've been tasked with bringing awareness to the VR program and letting people know that there's a service out there that can assist job seekers when going back to work. But as far as our numbers and stuff, there are more people that are requesting our services. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do you work with young people that are coming out of rehab or drug or alcohol facilities?
Yes, we work with individuals who may have substance abuse or mental health diagnosis. A lot of our counselors have specialty caseloads. So we have counselors who have a mental health or substance abuse caseload. We have counselors that have deaf and hard of hearing, where that is their specialty and area of interest. But we do, if they want to go to work, then we could definitely assist them and identify services that they may need to help them go to work.
As a compliment, when I contacted your staff, they're just super easy to get hold of, very friendly and helpful. Will you walk us through kind of what happens to my friend, once we get him connected? Then what's the process there? How do you guys get involved?
So, now that he's contacted our rapid engagement team, they will route him to the office nearest him. So we have offices for work fellows everywhere. So, once he's in our system, then a counselor will contact him and get him scheduled for an appointment, an application appointment. That application appointment is done in our system, and the counselor inputs all of the information. That can be done virtually, in person, or by phone. Now, once they've done the application, and they will ask for documentation, because you have to be eligible to work in the United States or in Texas. So, we'll get the required documentation that's needed. We'll do the application. Now, the council will determine if they need any type of assessments. So if there's like a psychological assessment, then they may send them for that. We will request medical records because we have to get confirmation of what that disability is. And then sometimes we may send them for an assessment and see that there are some other diagnoses that may need to be addressed. Now, once we get confirmation of what the disability is, the counselor and the individual will start working together to identify an employment goal that's obtainable and realistic. So what does that look like? We'll take a look at services that may be purchased, provided, or arranged. And there are a number of services, so we're gonna look at that. So one of the services that we provide, if we have an individual that's interested in training, whether that's a vocational certification, associates, bachelor's, or master's, but we take a look at that. We take a look at tuition, books, counseling, and we identify those services, and they develop, the counselor and the individual develop what we call an IPE. The IPE will list out those services. It's an agreement as to what services are needed to help them reach that employment goal. We provide those services, once they are at work and they're stable on the job, then we start an employment clock. And, after so long, we close the case as successful. Now, there's no limit as to, okay, you close your case and 2 years later, you can't come back. No, if somebody needs our services after we close their case as successful, then they can come back. That's what we're here for. But as far as like the timeline, that varies from case to case, because we have some people that are already working that comes in and need our services, and we just provide support services to help them stay, like those individuals who may need hearing aids. A lot of times, insurance does not cover hearing aids. Or if someone is working and they're eligible for our services, and they need assistance with like a surgery, then we may be able to assist with co-pays. So we do provide medical services and stuff, but the council works with them to take a look at what that looks like.
He doesn't have a driver's license, so how about transportation to the job?
We do provide time-limited transportation services, but we will work with our community partners and other organizations to try to help them put something in place more long-term. That's where those arranged services come in at. But the counselor can provide time-limited transportation services. Yes.
touched on it, but, how much, income can someone make without losing the disability?
Well, it just depends, and, again, one of our SMARTs would have to sit down with them. But whether they're receiving, SSI or SSDI, then, we take a look at that, because there are two separate sets of rules that apply with, SSI and SSDI. For example, if you have someone that's receiving SSDI, then we take a look at the 9-month child work period, because for 9 months, within a 60-month rolling period, they can make as much as they want, and their income is not affected. But then after that, then we take a look at what the substantial gainful activity is for the year. And even if their income, they don't receive a check, they still receive medical insurance. And a lot of people don't know that. You can still receive your medical insurance after your SSDI check stops. Now, with your SSI, your income is affected. And the counselors would sit down and do that calculation, or we would send them for benefits counseling so that they understand that before they go back to work.
Working within agencies or organizations to, help support the kids that are aging out of foster care?
Yes, that's a good question. We are actually, working now with, trying to work more with foster care agencies, in our region to coordinate, not just with our agency, but with the community colleges and stuff to assist them, with any services that they may need. I know we were working on a pilot program and trying to reach more foster care, agencies and work with the foster care youth. So I would love to speak to you more in regards to that.
Okay, I'm not. I think it was when we talked like, we do afterwards.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Ms. Greer. We really appreciate you jumping in at literally the last moment. That is the biggest fear of mine, other than losing a newscaster, is on Thursday to get a call from Sean. We lost our speaker, but wait, I have a plan. So thank you very much for standing in, and thank you for that information. Our speaker, Brian Hansen, partner of Board's Investments, has been rescheduled for May 13th. And so make sure to come back, and we will hear from him in May. So a few closing announcements here. Aurora wanted me to remind you that dues are due, and she will be ready to take those dues, or Guido might meet you in the parking lot. Guido is her alternate Guido there. And then if you'd like to sponsor a meeting, contact Mark Maurer. Next week's program is Mark Steffi, CEO of First Command Financial. And with that, I hope everybody has a great weekend. Stay warm. You go to the Stop Show parade, make sure you wear your heavy coat. It's going to be cold. Have a great weekend. See you next week.
got about 15 minutes. Yeah. You got 15 minutes?
Okay.
We have major technical problems, so I gotta